Get it the fuck out of here. This isn't Pacoima. It looks like shit.
But look at the way that you're coming at people, bro.
I'm not coming at... Don't call me bro. I'm not your bro.
I wish you were. I wish we were all friends. But that's hard for some people to understand. Why?
It needs to fucking go.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're tuning in. My name is Jonathan Torres-Herrera, and you are watching the JTH show. Today, we're going to discuss street vendors. But first, roll the intro. All right. So, did I beat you? Did I beat you to the intro? Because a lot of people are like, but first, roll the intro. They're like mimicking me, you know? They're like, first, roll the intro or something like that, you know? They're like, yeah, mi gordito. My audience is over there today. So she decided to move. She moves around. She moves around wherever she wants. She's like, it's my house, whatever. So you saw that video, right? In that video, you see yet another quote-unquote Karen, or I think for guys, they call them Tims or Toms, which is it's horrible. I mean, even for a Karen, it's like, imagine if you have that name and you're like, Karen, and you're like, fuck. Now I'm like, you know, Tim's same way, you know? But the Karen, the guy, is arguing that a street vendor should get the F out of here, right? Like he said. He says this ain't Pacoima. I have no idea what that reference is for. I'm not sure if there's an area, I guess, called Pacoima. Maybe there is. That is to him or to his standard a shit area. But he says it's not Pacoima, get it the F out of here, right? So, you know, he's not the first one. He's not going to be the last one, let's be honest, that are going to be upset because there are now, and there has been, right? And there's going to continue being an increase of street vendors. Now, there's going to be an increase of street vendors, in my opinion, not because, oh my God, all the Latinos or Mexicans or, you know, Hispanics or whatever the hell they're calling us today are invading us from Mexico and all the other little Mexicos. Because that's, you know, somebody comes from like, I don't know, Guatemala or Salvador, and it's like, oh, I met the Mexicans. There's also jokes out there that are like, we're not all from the same. It's not like one Mexico and then there's a lot of Mexicos, little Mexicos. But, you know, whatever. The point is, no, it's not because we have an increase of invasion and they're bringing all their customs. Is that something you commonly see in Mexico or, for that matter, South American countries? Well, for South American countries, I don't know because never been. But for Mexico, yes. I've actually even lived in Mexico as a U.S. citizen, and it's just a thing, right? The street tacos, you know, elotes, all that stuff. See it in parks. You see it. You pretty much see them in every block, 2 to 3, right? It's a thing. So is that something that you know, because we have an onslaught of people, they're bringing that here? No. Okay. But why are we seeing that? Why are we seeing more street vendors? Well, I think primarily because, well, we like to eat. I mean, let's not be hypocrites. With all the green and all the healthies and all the palos and paleos or whatever the hell they call it, we like to eat. I mean, I do. You do too. Look at yourself. It's okay. We like to eat. Now, what's the second reason? Because people right now need jobs and they need to figure out how to make a living. And, well, they go kind of hand in hand. People like to eat, and I know how to sell things that people would like to eat. Let's go make a business. So what is the problem? And at the end of the day, I know you're dying. Are you with the JT? Are you against it? I'm both. Yeah, I got you like that. Just like with every other topic. No, I'm not trying to please all parties. Hear me out. I have a legitimate reason as to why I'm with and against it. As some of you guys know, I am a business owner. So as a business owner, I know specifically right now, more than anyone, that you have to do something I think the majority of us probably hate, and that is paying taxes, right? Right off the top. When you're an ordinary Joe, you have a 9 to 5, you pay, you still pay taxes, yes. But when you own a business, it gets much more complicated. Now, when you don't know that, when you've never owned a business, you may not understand the depth of the issues that come along with owning a business. Now, nobody's forced to own a business, nobody's being forced to own a business. So yes, if you tell me, well, you're paying taxes or more than you should because you own a business, but you're also probably rich, that would also be somewhat incorrect in the sense that, yes, I own a business because I want to. No one's making me. But the taxes are still not something that I can get away with, right? At least not like some people feel about these street vendors, right? Which gets me back to the point. So in the videos that we have for today, including the one we just saw, you notice that the individuals, the Karens, right, calling the authorities or just simply, being a nuisance to these street vendors are bringing things up. Like, where's your permit? Which is another thing. When you have a business, and I have one, like I said, you have to have certain permits or licenses, of course, depending on where you have your business, depending on what state you live in, even what city sometimes, what municipality. It's complex. So it's not like in some areas or as I've known that some people in Mexico open up businesses, which I've also had in Mexico. And it's also very tough when you want to be 100% legitimate. It's expensive. However, I've also learned while being down there that there's a lot of people that would tell me to just open it. Like, talk to the guy that owns a building or whatever, pay him cash, and then just have the business. And then when someone comes to tell you or something, either change the name, like you can have someone come and paint something over, which it's also something, by the way, side note, that's very popular in Mexico. There's not a lot of fancy signs out there, right? That you can tell that took some money. Somebody came out, they measured, they had to have lighting, electricity. No. Down there, it's literally sometimes as simple as either you go to something they call the imprenta, or something to to print out, or have someone come over and just paint, right? I don't know what they call that, but they just basically paint the name outside. And then just change it next week or next month, next year, if you need to get away with whatever the hell you're trying to get away, whether it be taxes or whether it be anything, even a lawsuit. All right, so it's not the same, and it should not be the same, right? And it's the argument that some people have down here. So as a business owner, I understand the complexities, right? And I understand sometimes the frustration that you may feel, which is, by the way, just like the vendors right now, a lot of street vendors are popping up trying to sell things because, hey, desperate times call for sometimes desperate measures, right? Maybe these individuals, by the way, were in a completely different field. And then, it could be construction, it could be handyman, it could be anything. And no, I'm not saying it because they're Latinos. Fine, they could be lawyers. They could have been lawyers, okay? And now they're like, hey, well, all my clients just fired me and I'm gonna become a street vendor. So now that they have to do that, well, a lot of other business owners that are still struggling to stay open are like, wow, so I'm struggling, having to pay all these legitimate expenses, payroll tax, business taxes, which are different, by the way. And I know they just all fall under the category of tax, but they're different things. Insurances, permits. I mean, there's a ton of things like I just said. And they look at someone, they're like, oh, look at that guy. Oh, he has like maybe 12, 14, 15, 20 customers sometimes. And I've seen him because I've lined up there. Trying to buy elotes, $3 a little thing, $2. Cool. And here I am with like one customer. Now we can get all into the details and go back and forth about, well, maybe his business sucks. Maybe his food sucks. Maybe her business sucks. And maybe the elotero is better. And hey, go open a elote or whatever business. True. But that's not the point of this whole video and why these Karens are angry. All right. Now, of course, not all of them. I don't want all of a sudden, because I've been getting more and more DMs increasingly from people. I always say, just comment it. If you're going to talk shit, just talk shit, just say it. We can still be friends. We don't have to agree on everything. But they'll get DMs with saying, JT, look at this video. The last video, which you guys should check out, the Vanessa Aguian video. I'm serious. You guys should watch it. Thank you for everybody that watched it, and thank you for the people that commented. I got DMs from a couple people, my buddy included, saying, hey, man, you should mention this, or hey, oh, man, you should really, check this out, So there's always going to be arguments for an argument. So in this case, with the street vendors, there's always going to be the Karens that are just being actual Karens. But speaking from the business, hopefully these individual people, the guys in the videos I'm about to show you, from these Karens, understand that there is frustration because some other businesses are either forced to shut down and close down or have very, very limited capacity while they still have to pay for a lot of permits and taxes and payroll. So is there a mix of feelings between them being upset because they see the elotero man making a whole bunch of money just by himself and his daughter? Yeah, sure. Maybe that's part of it. Are they legitimately concerned over the well-being of the people that are consuming food, where it could be unsanitary? Yes. I mean, I honestly think so. Sometimes, when I get el vasito de elote, my wife's like, te va chorro. And I'm like, I know, maybe. But it's so good. So this is why I'm for and against. As a business owner, I think about the frustrations of owning a business outright, legitimately. With Uncle Sam coming around either every quarter or every year and be like, 30% please, right? Permits that you might need to have. I don't have a business that handles food. Food handles me, so yeah. So I don't know, right, how expensive, how difficult these permits are if you have a business that handles food. But I'm sure they do. And if, you own a business, let me know, how difficult it was. I've gotten a food handler's card, I think once when I had a job a long time ago. And it's like a test, and you have to have somebody that's either in the business that is like certified, or they bring someone in. It's like a 1 or 2 day thing or something like that. And then you have to pay for it, or the business obviously has to pay for it. So again, it's not cheap, guys, right? So just understand all that. Can any of us say that these street vendors are doing all that? Well, let's get into that in just a minute. But first, let's go into the next video, okay? So we can have more context about what we're talking about here. So let's go into this video that I want to show you guys. There's a real good one. I'll leave that one towards the end. But let's go into the second one. Go.
Go record what you want. It doesn't matter.
No. Esta es la propiedad privada.
You're gonna leave in 5 minutes. He's leaving right after.
Really?
It doesn't matter. Yes.
Really?
You can record me.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
It's like out of respect. I told him out of respect.
I'll post you on Facebook and all the Paris
He's
neighborhood.
disrespecting me.
Okay. This is not your property.
Appreciate it, sweetie. Have a
This
good
is not
day,
your
okay?
property.
To everybody you're recording me for.
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie.
Where you working?
Right here.
What's your name?
Take a video.
What's
Don't
your
worry
name?
about it.
What's your
Thank
name? You're welcome.
So like I said,
Have a good one.
in 5 minutes,
Bye.
when you leave, he's leaving
Bye.
too.
Have a good one.
Man, why are you so disrespectful?
Thank you.
Why are you so disrespectful?
This is not a property.
Why are you so disrespectful?
This is not a private property.
Sweetie, why are you disrespectful?
This is not a private property.
Sweetie, why are you disrespectful?
Okay.
It's cool.
Bye.
I got you, don't worry. So you're on
Me
my
too.
private property, right? So I take a picture of your license plate?
Go ahead. Cut the cops. Cut the cops. Cut the cops. Cut the cops. If you don't call them, I'll call them.
Get your car towed. Don't
Bye.
Okay. So let's break that one down, right? I like the first one and even the last one. This individual, I would say, is pretty calm, right? He's trying to be polite, somewhat condescending, sure, but he's trying to be polite, right? He's not running away. It doesn't sound like he's, or he was maybe, but maybe it doesn't sound like, at least when she was recording him, that maybe he was cussing at her or attacking her. Now, a couple things that after you get over that, like, oh, but this or that, for whatever side you're on, let's break down some facts, right? He's saying, hey, I'm in this business, right? He's pointing out to a business. I couldn't make out what the name of it was, but whatever business that is, whether it be he a supervisor, he a manager, he the owner, right? Whatever he's doing there. He brings up a good point. it sounds like that truck that was parked there maybe belonged to the lady, and maybe the lady is helping the individual with the business, with the little cart outside. Maybe that's what they transport the cart. And hey, if that would be the case, yeah, he has a point. She's picking up a parking spot. You can right now tell me, dude, really? So you're gonna defend him on the basis of one parking spot? I want you to use some critical thinking here. Okay? You have to understand, when you own a business and you're paying for your lease, you're paying for a spot. There's so many parking spots that sometimes the main leasing office will give you. That's why sometimes you'll drive up somewhere and they're like, oh, for these 3 parking spots for this business. And they'll have shops fight over these parking spots because that drives business away. It could be. I know I have made decisions on like, man, there's no parking. I don't want to park. My mom's like, there's a parking, like, let's go park down the block. And I'm like, I don't want to walk. It's a block. Are you crazy? What? Don't judge me. Some people are like that. They're like, I want to be in and out. You know, is that where's up in their parking? Vámonos. So what happens? That individual in this video is looking like, yeah, I mean, you're taking up a parking spot to take away potential customers of mine, not paying a lease in here, not paying for, sometimes they even have a type of HOA, right, for the actual park or the actual plaza. And she's like, hey, because I'm not in private property. Honestly, it sounds like a really crappy argument, right? To say, yeah, I'm basically taking advantage of all the benefits, right, that renting a real full-blown location on this plaza without having to pay any of that. I'll just take this little spot right here. You have to think about all that, right? You think about the fact that the guy selling the fruit, whatever the hell he's selling, tamales, burritos, whatever. He can be selling sushi. He can be selling caviar. What do you call that? Egg stuff, the baby eggs that people eat? Whatever that is, right? That fancy shit. Right? What is it? Caviar or something like that. And I was like, well, whatever. You do it. Whatever, man. Fancy shit. They can be selling freaking steak. It's not about what they're selling. It's about the fact that if he or she is selling things, he cannot fully control what his patrons or her patrons, right, are doing. If you also have the person owning that little cart maybe not be the cleanest and they leave a mess there, think about all that. Right? And then they can just leave. And tomorrow they can be set up in a completely different spot. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to come back to that spot. So those are the things that you need to think about, right? When you are completely blindly on the side of like the people, because they're, poor them, they're struggling. I get all that. And I'll get into it at the end, right? But in this video, the guy made a good point. I only gave him a couple, I guess pointers for not being a complete Karen about it, But listen to at least one of his arguments, right? And he's like, all right, fine. Then I'm going to get your vehicle towed. In my opinion, potentially rightfully so, right? Okay. So let's move on to the next video. All right. That'll be the last video before I close out my points here, my final pointers. So let's go on to this video. All right. Cue it. Go.
We're not, okay? Let us do our job.
From my daughter's mouth.
Leave. And what do you think he's doing? He's trying to feed us.
Is he paying for a permit?
And?
Is he? Yes or no?
Are you?
I am.
Okay, and? Can you just let us do our job?
Do you got a permit?
Okay, does that matter? Does that matter?
I answered your question.
But yet you're still doing your job.
We're not taking away nothing from you. So
do you have a permit, yes or no?
Get out.
Yes or no?
No. Get out.
Exactly.
But he's a hard-working man.
And so am I, and I pay my dues, I pay my insurance.
And what do we do? What do we do? We do the same thing.
You come in here trying to sneak in and trying to get some money for free.
Sneak in?
For free?
For free?
Are you serious?
We're working. We're working.
Because that's your constitutional right to do so.
No, you know what?
No, you can't fucking take pictures. That's when you get the
I'm not taking pictures, I'm taking video.
No, you're not. But that's not a right.
Touch me and it'll be assault.
You're a man, she's a woman. Please don't do.
Okay. So right off the top, let me say something against this individual. Personally speaking, I don't know. Never take children to the type of argument, a situation like that. That's my opinion, right? I have kids, and I've sincerely have tried, right, to if I'm going to have, not that I have them very often, I don't even remember when was the last time I had one, but if I know I'm going to go and, I don't know, have something, you know, some type of argument very passionately, and it might get even out of hand, don't bring your kids, man, like that. It's a side point, and I'll make a video about parenting and stuff like that, my thoughts on that, but it can be a traumatic experience for a child. But anyways, so back to the video. This video, the individual also makes good points. Things like, does he have a permit? Yes or no? It's a very black and white question, which is very true. It's a question that a city official would ask you. Yes, I understand. He's probably not a city official. I get it. It doesn't take away from the point that does he or does he not. Him saying, hey, your father, Theo, whatever, whoever's selling there behind the camera is taking away from my daughter. Break it down, right? He is putting it out as, hey, he doesn't have all these legitimate things that I had to go through. And maybe if his food is better than mine, that's a different argument. Sure. Okay. Maybe that's the reason that nobody's buying your shitty food, whoever this guy is. But it doesn't take away from the fact that if the guy is not there legitimate, he's taking away business from someone that is trying to do everything legitimate. Whether it's an argument about how food quality is or not, that's independent, right? So let's close it out. Am I for the street vendors? Yes. I love street food. I do. I think if I go to, New York one day, I'm going to have a hot dog. I don't care how many people have told me, like, don't have the hot dogs. Yeah. Don't. Like, why do you think they'll have no dogs in the street? No. Wait, no, that's Tijuana. No. I don't know. I still had them. I will. That's just who I am, right? Me limpia. It's like, it helps me clean out. Am I for businesses anywhere that are not paying their fair share of taxes, their fair share of fees, right, that I have to pay? Yes. Are you all of a sudden going to go left field and be like, yeah, oh, okay, so you're against big corporations, so don't pay the, yes, sure, yes, stop, focus. Sure, yes, I'm against Amazon not paying all the taxes and then getting away with money and all. Yeah, sure, okay, focus. I'm against businesses, even if it's the girl was like, he's all trying to feed us. He works hard. I'm sorry, using an argument of like poor guy, poor this, that's not legitimate arguments. They're not. Listen, this is going to sound unpopular, and I'm okay with that. When an individual decides to go to Mexico illegally, when an individual from Mexico, or from any country for that matter, decides to come here and be here illegally, good luck to you, right? I wish you the best. I don't wish you to end up in a cage. That is inhumane, so let me get that right out of the way. However, do I believe that that individual is breaking the law? Yes, if you're somewhere that you're not supposed to be illegally, you're breaking the law. Are there some consequences for that? Again, just trying to be rational here. Yes, there are going to be consequences. Are some of those consequences, especially in the United States, are they overly harsh? Arguably, yes. Right? Arguably, because again, you're going to have some people saying, oh, it's bullshit. They're all are, the worst. And you're going to have some people saying, they should be worse. So yes, arguably, the punishment for being here illegally can definitely be inhumane to some level. Right? I've had people that I know that have been deported. And they have told me their stories. It's pretty fucking horrific. Just put it like that. Okay? Things that I wouldn't wish on anybody, right? That is trying to make a living. But those are some of the risks that you have to understand that if you're here legally, you're going to face. Is it fair? No, but yes. Yes, because there's a lot of people that have come here the right way that I know of as well, that have waited the 6 months, even over a year, to hear back from immigration, finally get their papers, do everything that immigration tells them to do, which is a whole bunch of crap, and money, good one, and a lot of money. And then that individual is not working. You know, I won't say who he is, but Theo, you know, he did it. Phenomenal. And then there's some individuals that I also know that have been here for a long time. And it's like, so, hey, maybe you should, not go like that every time you see the freaking green car with the white stripes or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I know, one day, soon. It's like, no, dude, you should. Yeah, but remember, dude, I have that DUI. Which then leads me to a whole other argument. It's like, well, you should have said it at the beginning. Never mind, it don't apply. You know what I'm going with this? Okay. So, should street vendors continue selling without permits? No. Because here's what I would do. Some of those of you guys that know me, you know exactly how I would do it too. With my smirky, ashless, pompous smile. If I was a street vendor tomorrow, right? If all of a sudden I couldn't do everything that I'm doing now to make a living, and I'm like, I'm gonna go sell tamales. I'm gonna go sell carne asada fries. That's what they should sell. And somebody came up to me, right? A Karen. It's like, excuse, yeah. You have the papers? I would be like, what papers? Like my green paper, like my green card. I would even go like that in my green card. Yeah, why? Let me see them. And this is what I would say. You want to see my green card? And my okay. But you have to promise one thing. What is it? Promise you what? Promise. Okay. You have to record me. It's like, why you want me to record? Just record me. Everybody record. Everybody record. I will make a fucking fiasco out of it. That motherfucker would never come back. And then I would be, I make a copy for you. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. This motherfucker would be like, yeah. Okay, here you go. To here to go. All the papers. And then I would be like, and next time you come back here, my shotgun. No, I'm just playing. People are going to be like, oh, got real fucking heated all of a sudden. It got real intense. It got ugly. I wouldn't do that. But I would give all the papers. I would be. I would also be that guy that would say something like carne asada fries, elote raspados with papers. All legal. Do you know how much that would attract? I would be all over the internet. Like, that's a guy that has legal raspados and legal elotes. That's what I would do. I would throw it in their faces, right? That's how you combat this. By throwing shit like this back in their, and people's, especially people that are doing it just to be a Karen. Like we said earlier, right? When we started the video. Those other than just got here like, ¿cuándo dijo eso? Well, go back to the beginning. I said it. There's going to be Karens. Legitimate Karens. There are just sitting there, just freaking probably driving and be like, that guy looks like an illegal. And people are going to be like, they don't all talk like that. I know, I'm just playing. I'm going to record him right now. Where's your papers? Amigo, papeles. They're like, wow, he's attacking the white community. I'm not. I'm just joking. God, can you take a fucking joke? But I would, right? I would fucking troll them back. The ones that are legitimately ask me. Dude, I've had people that I know they heard me talk in English in the office, and then they're like, oh, I'm new here. And it's like, oh, JT, right? You speak English? And I'm like, no, I turned around right now, fucking 360, and I just fucking forgot it. I've had it. Do I get all crazy and be like, wow, you didn't fucking hear me speak English? I know people like that exist. People exist that can't take jokes. People exist that they're bored. People exist that will try to take their frustration out on you. You heard it in the last video. Right, not to bring it up again, but in that video that I put for Vanessa, there was even a military guy that was interviewed that he's like, at the time, I didn't understand that, people like that are just dealing with issues that they should be talking to counselors about. Some of these Karens should be talking to counselors. But some of these Karens, you have to try to at least understand some of their argument. They have good pointers, right? All I'm saying is don't be just blinded because it fits either your narrative, it makes you feel better, and don't take things to the level that is so personal because like, oh, well, my tío has this, or my dad has this, or my mom has this, and if I kind of go against that, then I feel like I'm going against them. Don't be romantic about it, right? If you're going to be a productive member of society, you have to have some good critical thinking skills. You have to. You have to move past the people that are completely, and I mean clearly, just ignoring any fact, whether it's a good fact, a shitty fact, because they don't want to hear it. All right? If you want to be someone that is, I don't know, just a well-rounded human being, man, just hear both sides, right? The Karen, by the way, that was, I don't know, that she was like calling police in New York or something a while back on the little girl that was like selling lemonade or something outside. You know, that right there, come on, she's being a fucking dick. It was closed water bottles that I know of. And she called the cops. Even from my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken, the cops, I think, didn't even come up or show up, or they showed up and left. That's a complete Karen. She's selling fucking water bottles that are closed. It's a little girl. It's like the Girl Scout cookies kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes one thing that I don't like is sweets, by the way. You might laugh about it, but I don't. But I'll go buy 4 or 5 cookies, or boxes of cookies, right? Because I'm like, hey, it's a child. It's different. For that, I am romantic. That's a different story. I know you're like, ay, pinche hipócrita. I know. Where I draw the line. Even my wife's over there like, hypocrite. They didn't even go here. But, you know, that's my line. With little kids. That's my line. Watch tomorrow, I'll be like, all the street vendors will be like, el JT dijo que there's a kid. It's okay. Juanito, vámonos. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Oh, one last one. This is in relation to this. To those mother effers attacking street vendors, fuck you. Straight up. Like there's some videos. Some people know. My mom's like, who the fuck? So, I'll tell you later. There are some people out there that are attacking street vendors and trying to steal from them. That's fucking bullshit. That right, 100%. I have no argument for that. Fuck those guys. Anyways, other than that, we're good to go. Now you guys can leave. Like, subscribe, and until the next one, see ya.